My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and we're not going to pretend you all know what you're here for. It's Khanh! How are we?
Hello, it's Khanh via Bubble Bar.
Yeah, I'd like to think you're recreating the I Should Be So Lucky film clip of Kylie Minogue. It's just like blowing bubbles.
Look, I look, I'm all about multitasking right now, and I had like 2 hours, so I was like, okay, what can I do? I can do all of my phone calls and also have a bath.
Look, it's a good idea. I have no issue with it. I freaking do a lot of like work and stuff like that, like from the bath, because it's easier. It's like I can multitask.
You're a teacher. That's kind of wrong.
Look, I don't tell everyone that I'm in the bath, but I'm like, you know what? I've known you guys for a while.
Yeah.
You won't mind that I'm sitting in a bathtub right now.
Us in our audience, we're fine. We're all friends here.
No, everyone loves it, so that's good. So, first of all, how have you been? I mean, it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
I'm incredible. Like, I am loving my life. I actually think that going back was one of the best decisions I've made in the last 10 years. I've enjoyed it a lot. And even coming off, I thought that like the last week, I felt like it might have been weird getting eliminated and then like what would happen during that week. But it was kind of like, I got eliminated, people cried, I cried. Monday we did interviews about me crying and people crying. And then Tuesday I went back into work.
There was lots of crying. You elicited a lot of tears.
Yes. Both on screen.
I actually cried so much more this season than they even showed. Which I don't know if that's possible, but I was crying the whole way through the season. Every time anything happened, I was like, friends get eliminated, crying. Did a good dish, cried more. Did a horrible dish, cried again. Like I was just crying throughout the whole season.
Walked past the Vespa, tears. It's just, I mean, it's natural.
It was actually about halfway through that Laura and Amelia actually came up to me after a cook, and she goes, is this a real cry? And then like I was sitting in the corner howling, and like, oh, okay, we need to get him some chocolate or something. He's actually like really crying. And they're like, but you did well. I'm like, but it's an emotional day. And I just sat there crying in a corner of the green room.
I know I did fantastic. I'm so proud of me.
I think it was actually the family episode, and Amelia was like, I couldn't look at you. I could not watch you cooking the whole time, because every time I looked at you, you were crying, which made me want to cry. And then Reynolds was standing there and he was kind of crying. It was just an emotional day.
Well, the problem with that one was too, like they did the family episode like the week of COVID, and it was like, talk about timing.
Yeah, it's see, that family episode was really hard because none of us expected it. So usually I think in every season you kind of have an inkling when like the emotional episodes are about to happen. You're like, oh, we're down to top 10. This is when we get some letters or like something. It was nothing like that. We walked in and we're like, there's heaps of us left. Nothing. And I made a point out of not sending in any photos that were green. So I sent them all these really nice photos of like just me hanging out with my mates, like kind of like me sitting in a bathtub, like whatever. And I made a point out of not sending any of these like emotional photos in. And then they dug it up from like the season before, being like, no, you sent this to us like a season before. And I was like, damn it, I forgot about that.
We've got Khanh on file, quickly.
He looks far too happy in all of these. None of this is going to drag a tear out of him.
Yeah, I tried so hard that day as well, but as soon as Mel was like kind of upset, I was like, oh god, it's coming.
And that segues really beautifully, because we had a bit of a talk to Sarah Claire about this too, but obviously it's really good to get to talk to you about it. The fact that you're going back in there with 3 brand new judges, I mean, that's a whole whirlwind. And I mean, especially the country's fallen in love with Melissa Leong, and in our point of view, rightly so. That idea of like 3 new judges, what's that like?
That was scary. I kind of and ahed about coming on the show throughout the whole process. So like having new judges really wasn't that much of a deal breaker for me, or even like anything like that. I was just kind of like already kind of second guessing everything. And then when the new judges came, I was like, oh my God, I don't know these people. I don't know what they like, what they don't like. Will they hate me? So I was kind of worried. And then it was like day one, walked in and they were like, you guys are awesome. And we're like, you guys are awesome.
No, you're awesome. No, you're fantastic. No, you're fantastic.
Yeah.
Love
No, it was very nurturing. It was really, really nurturing and really supportive. And they just kind of really pushed us. And they kind of slipped into those roles really well and made it their own, which is an incredible thing to do with a show that's been around for 11 years before this.
Yeah.
And Melissa's just, Melissa, right?
She's amazing.
I think one of the best, funniest but awkward moments in the whole season was when she started flirting with you, like just in that way.
I think there was a familiarity there. I feel as though it's just kind of like I can flirt with you and it's just going to be fun and no one's going to think anything of it. And I was just kind of like, I don't know what's going on, but okay.
Yeah, it's old school. It's the essence of flirting, which is about making another person feel good and to have fun. So,
and it seems to be a perk of Melissa in there. We put on the drinking game a couple of times. Melissa makes everyone feel so much better about their life.
Yes.
Yeah, she's so gorgeous. And like, what is with that vocab? Like, she knows 20 times more words than I do. Sometimes when she speaks and I'm just like, what have you just said? That just sounded so beautiful.
And what surprises me is like, she's essentially from the Sutherland Shire, which is the same area that I grew up. I'm like, she is so not a Shire person.
She's lovely. Hi everyone in the Shire. I can cast aspersions. I hate the place.
Do not pay out the Shire.
I can cast
That's
aspersions.
embarrassing. But I think there was one time when I was reading an article about how well she spoke, and I was like, I spent that night sitting on like thesaurus.com looking up like synonyms for words that I say a lot of. I'm just like, how do I change my vocab? Because I don't think it's good enough.
That's another word for gorge.
No. Gorge became the word.
I love gorge.
I loved the fact that you just went in there and just was like, no, gorge is happening. It's going to be a thing.
Look, this time around, I think I just felt a lot more comfortable being silly and sassy and anything, because I'm like, Australia knows what I'm like. The judges, well, production, everyone kind of knows me now. I don't really have to like explain anything. I'm just like, I'm going to go on and just be whatever I want to be. And I had so much more fun.
Oh, and we loved it as an audience, like, because we know that when you do, it's not only like the last time where you're introducing yourself to a whole new group of people and in an unfamiliar environment, being on a reality TV show, but then you've got the audience at home. So I guess, you have to be a bit more guarded and where you kind of like peel the fabulous onion.
Peel the fabulous onion. That seems like a slogan.
That's a podcast, The Fabulous Onion.
The Fabulous Onion. Oh, there you go. You can have it. That's yours. That's our gift to you.
Thank you. I will trademark that right now.
Take it, run with it from the bath. Take it, run with it. It can be a podcast where you can talk about your fabulous book. So we'll quickly mention the book. So you have a fabulous book coming out.
Yes, it is A Gay Guy's Guide to Life, Love and Food. It's
the basis.
Yeah, I wanted a cookbook that was very about me. I was like, I do not want to just give people recipes. I want them to kind of see where the food comes from, why I like dishes, the personality behind it, the memories and the stories behind every dish.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that kind of, that's how it happened. And originally, I actually pitched A Gay Guy's Guide to a Broken Heart, which is one of the chapters of the book. Yeah, but it wasn't supposed to be a sad moment. It was supposed to be like oh my God, you've broken up. Let's embrace life moment. And, but then the publisher was like, oh, we kind of see this being a lot more than that. And then they came back with an idea and I was just like, oh yeah, okay, you want me to do exactly what I'm doing, but apply it to every aspect of my life. Yeah, so it's 5 chapters. One's about family, one's about friends, another one's about sustainable dating. Then there's the broken heart chapter. And the last one, I wanted to call it A Gay Guy's Guide to Being a Basic Bitch, but they were like, let's just call it A Gay Guy's Guide to Being Basic. I'm like, sure.
But I think A Gay Guy's Guide to Being a Basic Bitch is a good follow-up book.
Yeah. But I'm just like, let's not lie. We are all basic. We are all, we can pretend that we're not. We are all so basic. I'm like, what am I cooking for dinner tonight? I'm having people over. Dan and I couldn't be bothered. So I was like, I'm going to make a stew, but I'll just make a Vietnamese stew and then serve it with noodles and herbs. So it's like, oh my God, he's made an authentic Vietnamese stew. No, Mum makes this all the time. It's the easiest thing. I chucked everything into like a pot.
I'm just going to throw some noodles in there, throw some herbs in there. I spent hours slaving over this.
Well, I did spend hours, but it spent hours sitting on the stove on a low simmer for the beef to break down.
But that's the smart move. I mean, it's not. It's basic insofar as it's just clever.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot of recipes that I like that. They're all very situational. My favorite chapter is a sustainable dating chapter because it's hilarious. Like, it's dishes that look really cool and look really like hard, but are so easy. And I'm like, it's like you're tricking your date into thinking that you spent so long doing something when you didn't.
Is there a chapter of if your, kitchen catches on fire, where to buy the best burgers from to clean the steam top?
There's actually a page on how to drink water. Because people kept asking me really random questions on my Instagram page, and like they would say it as like stupid, like, oh, I'm being funny, but I would always answer them because I was like, hey, the funny ones are actually the best content. So if someone asked me how to drink water, and I basically said, grab a glass, fill it with ice, put 50 mils of vodka in, a dash of lemon, a little bit of vodka, and just repeat.
I mean, that's a good answer.
And, like the president of the United States of America could have done with that advice a couple of weeks ago.
And how to drink a glass of water. I mean, look, they were celebrating him for it on the weekend. So
I can't deal with him right now. Like, I literally like, oh, we're gonna stop testing, because if we test, it means that we're gonna get more numbers. Of course.
And then,
oh my God.
And then the follow-up comment of he was joking. So either A, they were covering for him, which is the answer, or B, he's joking about people dying of COVID. Also a bad call. Make your decision which bad call you're going with.
It's just ridiculous. Like, and I can't speak about it because I get so infuriated that a man like that is in power.
Yeah. So let's talk about something that's a bit happier then.
Yes, please.
Where's your island at on Animal Crossing? Because,
I started terraforming. But
isn't it fun?
Okay, no. Okay, we need to talk about this. So I spent a day looking for my favorite photo of Ariana Grande and then putting it through a pixelator and then working out how big my island was on Animal Crossing, how many squares by how many squares, so that I can try and make my island look like Ariana Grande. So I've stopped terraforming because until I get this perfect, I do not want to terraform because I don't want my island looking anything other than Ariana Grande.
So the easiest way to do it is to do the pixels at a time. And do each individual part of her body, and then you break them up across sections and actually break them down.
Exactly.
He can do this.
I can, but I'm pretty sure it's like 26 or 16 by 16 or 27 by 17. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of 5 up and 6 across. So I had to kind of get it into the measurements and then figure out like what colors I needed to do things to do different shading, because it's just her face in a ponytail that I'm kind of recreating. On another note,
I'll have to send you some links. I've got some images of people that have done it, and maybe it's up on the QR codes and you can just scan them in.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I'll send you some links. But I mean, look, the Animal Crossing thing comes up because, I mean, there was that night on Twitter, you were explaining that you had to explain to Jock and Andy why you were fascinated with turnips.
It's every time I see a turnip, I'm like, we can't cook with that. That's worth like 600 bells.
Yeah, that's a lot of bells right there. I need to use that to build my house. I mean, house. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I sit at home, I buy my turnip, and then I sit at home trolling through Turnip Exchange to see whose island's selling their bells at the highest rate, and I go traveling, and then I make a sneaky deal on the side. I'm like, if I can skip the line every time, I will drop you 2 stacks of turnips and a ticket. And
I was really lucky early on in the game and got an absolute mountain of gold. So I just keep on messaging people going, a couple of gold nuggets coming your way if you let me jump the line. So I'm there. I feel you 100%. This is, and again, there's people at home going, we don't care about Animal Crossing. And to those people, I say, you need to. You really should.
It kept Reynolds and I saying the entire time, and also it's kept our friendship alive. Like, we play Animal Crossing at night. I'll text him and be like, do you want to come to my island? He's like, yep.
Well, it's the thing that I found it really helpful for was COVID. I found it brilliant to sort of, I need something that's not relating to anything that's stressful or panicky in the world.
And it's so wholesome.
I could do with something that's wholesome and cute, and I can go fishing or I can design stuff, and I'm like, I'll do it.
Whereas
I go hunting for Judy.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
Whereas for me, I went, fuck it, I want to stab things. I'm a bit annoyed with the world, so I'll play Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's okay. As violent as I get is I invite Reynolds over and I hit him with like a net.
That's it. And that again is a valid way to play Animal Crossing, is just to back people in the head with a net. Like,
We also play hide and seek in the museum.
Is that before or after he wakes up at the front of him? Woo, woo. We should probably bring it back to food, because like the Animal Crossing is we're down for this, but there's a lot of people going, skip the Animal Crossing.
Literally, people will literally be like, you guys are so obsessed, it's so dumb. Okay, let's go back to food.
There's an angry survivor chicken out there right now that's really angry with me on Twitter and is going to yell at me, you're not funny, your banter's not witty. Anyway, so we'll move on. So back into food, obviously going back in there, did you have a different sort of food approach you wanted to take? Was there a sort of a plan of attack going in, or was it, just see what happens?
My plan of attack this time was I was not going to do anything that I didn't want to do or love doing. So I feel like in previous seasons, we kind of try to show a lot of range. So we do a lot of things just to show technique rather than to show what our actual end goal is and who we are as cooks. This time I came on, I'm like, this is what I do. This is what I like doing. I'm pushing this. And if it works for that challenge, perfect. If it doesn't work for that challenge, then I'll veer. But I will not, I'm not going to go into a challenge where I can make a Vietnamese dish or a Southeast Asian dish and do like a French dish, because it's not going to happen. It becomes a pointless day for me. And that's not what this is about. This was a kind of showing the judges and also the Australian public what my point of view is.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing, like with this particular season, is the representation of being able to start to broaden, like as an audience member, our understanding of Asian flavors. And I'm saying that in air quotes, and with Melissa Leong there, and yourself, Sarah, bloody Brandon, Reynolds, Jess, it was fantastic, because it's like, here are some like passionate experts, sharing their love of what they're doing with us.
Yeah, and especially having Melissa there, it was kind of like you couldn't even lie about anything, which was so annoying.
Well, that was something we talked about when we talked about her coming in, and we were really thrilled because we loved Chef's Line. And one of the things we loved about Chef's Line was when they go in there and they talk about flavors and different Asian style flavors, Melissa was able to pull them up and go, hang on a minute, that's this particular province of this part of the country.
Yeah.
That bit there. So, and that's been something that there's been a lot of conversation in previous seasons of MasterChef about, is just the Southeast Asian flavors or Asian flavors versus... And in the first week, I think it was, Melissa was very particular about explaining regions and provinces, and everyone at home went, this is amazing. So I think that representation helped as well for you guys.
It was actually really good. I really loved having her. I really loved, especially that, like, I was able to I didn't have to not dumb it down, but I didn't have to try and explain something that, like, a lot of the time when I cooked something, I would speak about the dish with its Vietnamese name. And Melissa would understand and pick it up straight away. I'd be like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And then I'm like, awesome. I don't have to be like, it's a chao gao, which is a Vietnamese congee, where the congee is thicker and the chicken is cooked in the broth that makes the congee. Like, I didn't have to explain any of that, because I could just say it and she would be like, I know how this dish is supposed to be.
Yeah, she's got a point of reference already there to go, ready to go. So
yeah.
And it was good. It was good to see that idea of, I'm going in and I'm going to cook authentic thing. And I mean, you mentioned it, but the challenge you ended up going home on became quite an issue online with fine dining, and that was an interesting phrasing again. And a lot of people picked up that the people that automatically did well at that challenge read through sort of, as everyone put it on Twitter, code words, which is fine dining. We're talking European. And again, I liked the fact that you went, no, I'm sticking, and this is fine dining, and this is something that I do consider to be fine dining, because fine dining is technique based, and this has got technique. This is what this is.
Look, I think fine dining is heavily technique based. It's about kind of letting every single thing speak for itself. Like, it's about the attention to detail. And at the end of the day, on that day, I had a quail that was not cooked perfectly, and I had a bone in it, which sent me home. And I think that was totally fair. And I understand what people are saying when they're like, that challenge was veered towards one direction. But I'm like, every challenge is like that, though. Every challenge is veered towards a direction, and it's supposed to show our breadth, like as a cook. Yeah. And so it's unfair to kind of pick on the fine dining challenge when there was a challenge before where it had to be 2 ice creams. Yeah. Like, how's that helpful to anyone that doesn't make ice cream?
Yeah. And that's something we've discussed a little bit. Like when we talked about the fine dining on the podcast, we brought the fine dining up and then said, but the thing that sent you home was the bone and the quail.
It was the cooking of my protein, and I didn't feel the breathe. And so, fair enough, that sent me home. And I actually didn't even know about the bone until it aired, and I was like, well, there we go.
You're like, oh shit, that's what it was.
Yeah, I was like, there is a bone in my bird. No, that makes a lot of sense.
You're watching it at home going, oh, Khan, no, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I was just like, but the half time I'm like, how is there even a bone?
You can't do that.
Can't do that at all. No, you can't. You're going home. But I like the fact as well, I think there's been a lot of people this year, and one of the benefits we've seen this series, I think, is that people have felt a lot more comfortable of coming on and cooking them.
Yes.
Cooking what they cook and not apologizing for it. And I mean, it's always something that causes a lot of conjecture in different series online, and we've sort of very firmly argued, like, and I saw a quote from you in the media that sort of talked about this, but we use the example of Laura and pasta, and our thing with Laura and pasta is she's cooking different varieties, different types, different styles. They're not the same pasta over and over again.
She uses different ratios. She uses different flours. Like, she was like, oh, you don't use a semolina flour for that because you don't want that chew, or you don't want that texture behind it. You need it to be smoother, so use this instead. Like, she's so knowledgeable that it's not just pasta.
And that's the thing. Everyone, and this is the thing too.
She doesn't just have one good pasta recipe that she pulls over.
And there's a lot of people that have they've sort of done the whole, she's just making a pasta and lumping it all in together as one thing, where it's far more complex and different. And the variety's been broader. And it's the same with when we talk about dumplings and Brendan or all these people. It's far more than the same dish over and over again. There are different styles, techniques, flavors, mixes, blends, the works. And if you are demonstrating what your cooking heritage is, and again, with her case especially, there's a lot of Italian there, you're going to do what you are very good at doing and demonstrate the highest level of technique because you want people to see how good you are as a cook.
If anything, I think that saying that she only cooks pasta says that you're kind of naive to Italian cuisine.
Yep. Because
it's like, she cooks pasta and she actually tells me where it's from, what part of the country, why it's a tomato-based sauce, because of the reasoning it being it's from like this certain region. Like, she goes into a real historical reason why everything is done, and it kind of shows that she has a really wide knowledge of Italian cuisine, and it's not just pasta.
Yeah, I think it's one thing we've seen from everybody a bit this series is the depth and breadth and experience that a lot of them have been able to develop from the moment they left right through until now, obviously, and how far a lot of their technique has been able to come along. I think their techniques come along in leaps and bounds for pretty much everyone who's been in there, and they're cooking at such a high level. And I think that, the judges have been a bit surprised at times when they've seen the level of what's coming out of the kitchen. Like, really? That's exquisite.
Reynolds coughs and suddenly, out of the liquid nitrogen.
Out of the liquid nitrogen haze that follows Reynolds around comes.
I'm just like, every time Reynolds cooks, I'm just like, how do you even do that? I was watching an episode the other day where I wasn't in it, obviously because it's been eliminated. But I was like, okay, yeah, cool, beetroot. Okay, cool. You cut up beetroot into rounds and put it around a puree. So now the beetroots look like a rose, like petals around a puree. Who thinks of that? Who does that? I'm like, are you? And then he was doing a sauce. And I remember just putting a little bit of sauce down and then doing a strike through it. I'm like, that is so fine dining 15 years ago, but you've made it cool again. Why? How have you done that? I just don't understand. You've cut your duck breast into a diamond. Who thinks like that? I'm just like, what is going on? Like, this guy is just so talented.
Mm-hmm.
It's been one of the more fascinating parts of the show, is just to watch these different moments of people having their breakout. Like, I mean, Jess again this year had that absolutely insane run of a couple of weeks where every dish was a new level, and she's just knocking it out of the park. Sarah Tiong had her big push moment where she was just nailing dish after dish after dish. It's been like, from your perspective, watching it from around, what sort of dishes have stood out to you, and like sort of what did you notice that stood out to you?
This year the judges judged like the food differently, where it was kind of like, how do you judge a fine dining dish up against a street food dish? You can't. It's very difficult. So what they actually did was kind of judge it in that realm. So it was like, for a fine dining dish, has it nailed the things that it's trying to achieve? And the same with like, it's a street food dish, has it nailed everything that we want from a street food dish? So it really allowed us to kind of cook the way we want to, and that's come across, because like the dishes that are most memorable for me that came out of like Brendan for example is his dandan noodles. Like, incredible, looked and smelt amazing. Like, pretty sure we ate something. Well, I think Amelia asked for the recipe and she cooked it for our dinner one night, and I was like, yeah, that's banging. Reese made a couple of cakes, but they were incredible. They were perfect. They were delicious, and it was kind of like, I don't think that anyone would have been brave enough to do that in previous years, to just present a cake. And I feel as though this season has really allowed us to do things like that, to allow our cuisine to shine. And that's the cuisine that ends up standing out to everyone. It's the cuisine that we care about and is like the representation of what we want to do and what we want to achieve.
It's been like, for example, Poe doing I'm going to do this one cake for the time challenge, and if it goes wrong, I'm going home. And the way we've been describing
to the wall.
Yeah, the way we've been describing Poe this series is simple. We're describing her as like an avant-garde artist who's going, where's the mood taking me today? What will I try? I don't think it's going to work, but let's try something. And I love that attitude of like, let's try something. And I think it sort of encapsulates, as you sort of said, the spirit of the season, which is let's try something. And like last night, I know you were watching along last night. Last night, they all tried something in an elimination.
Yeah.
And the judge
was so strong.
Yeah, like the judge is like, is this the time to try something? And what I love was all of them went, yes. No, it is.
Yeah. And no one is really playing it safe, which is amazing. I know that like we stick to our strengths, but we still, sticking to your strengths is not playing it safe. It's actually a little bit of a risk, because you have there's jeopardy there, because the judges can turn around and be like, we've seen this from you before.
Yeah.
So I don't actually think of like sticking to your strengths as being completely safe. So yeah, I was actually speaking to Poe about this, where we said that like this season, what we find is no one is following the formula anymore. No one is doing the make a banging sauce, cook a nice protein, add a few leaves of a vegetable. Or
far less pork
serve
crack
a crumb.
in previous seasons.
Yeah. Or like the other one is a frozen element, a caramel, and a crumb.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been so pleased at the lack of crumb. It's been one of my favorite parts of the series.
And it's fine to do a crumb, but that's fine. But like, even like when Jess did a crumb this year, she was like a caramelized oat rather than a crumb. So she was like, she changed it up, or she like would crush up nuts and like do things to the nuts. So they represented the same thing. It had that crunchy flavor, but it wasn't as simple as sugar, flour, and like butter.
Yeah. What I'm going to go straight off topic.
Of course you are.
Because like my dear husband has bought new Converse, and they're the 2020 Pride Converse, and they're very rainbow. And then in my head, I'm like, this has been the most like sexual orientation diverse show that, you know what I mean, like in mainstream media for quite some time, and but not a big deal made out of it. So what I want to know is everyone planning a pride float for next year?
We actually were trying to, like, before COVID happened, we really wanted to do the gays of MasterChef. As a little article, but obviously, like, all the press just went weird after COVID happened, and everyone was like, the world is ending. So we kind of like ditched that, but it's been amazing. I love that. I cannot say that I love MasterChef enough, because even from day one, it has always been about celebrating food.
Yep.
It has never really been like season one, the first season that I was in, I wasn't there as a token gay man.
No,
I was there as a DJ, which was really different. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna push like the gay refugee thing. They're gonna push it hard, and then instead they're like, you're a DJ, and I'm like,
he was there as the Bachelor, all right? So
I was like, wait a minute, I didn't think that was the direction we were going in, because they don't care about that. Like, they literally don't care. They're like, that's just who you are. And you can see it in this season, none of us are token anything. We all came back. And I just can't be more thankful of like MasterChef and Animal Shine and 10 for kind of wanting to go down that route, because I think with a season of familiar faces, you could actually go down a very dramatized route, because there'll be a lot more interest there with being like, Poe and Khan don't like each other. We do, by the way. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, they could have sold it that way, and I was really worried. And I think that was one of the first questions I asked when I was approached about coming back was, are we changing the format? And they're like, no, it will not be drama based. I'm like, perfect.
But that was
because we don't want a RuPaul All Stars. We just want an All Stars. You know?
Yeah, but like, you can have a RuPaul's All Stars, but it's like everyone is Miss Congeniality. Like, everyone is there to. It's like no one is there to be shady.
Yeah. And that was sort of one of the things that I think has been interesting is whenever the editors sort of lent a little bit that way occasionally, and it's only done it once or twice, the audience at home has quickly gone, no, put it back, and it's like rerouted the next episode.
We
it's
just
like,
want to see people.
Okay, that was a blip. We
just want to see people who are talented and skilled share their talents and skills with us for our entertainment. You know,
like I think the contestants this year are personality-wise, we're all sassy, but we are not shady.
No, that's been the thing. There's been a lot of bits and pieces of sass, but nothing that you would consider to be nasty. There's
rude or nasty. It's just more like, no, Reynolds, don't ask me stupid questions.
I'm a bit focused right now. I'm totally focused. It was like watching Brendan last night in The Cook, and Reese is like halfway down the staircase going, "Have you remembered this? Have you remembered that?" It was almost like he was the doting sort of uncle going, "Have you got a cardigan? Are you going to be a bit cold down there? What else can I give you?"
You know who's the sass queen? Amelia, and it's only shown in the last kind of half of the season, but she is so fast and so quick-witted, and I just love her dry sense of humor as well. Like, she'll just look at you like straight face and say something, and I'm like, I don't know if you were just like bagging me or if that was a joke, but I kind of am enjoying it.
There was that week a couple of weeks ago where Reese had a brilliant week, and we barely mentioned that Reese had a brilliant week on the podcast because Amelia just had a week in terms of just her sass and her she was speaking brilliantly too, but her sass and the personality was just like, Australia was just like, oh my God, where has this been hiding? And and the thing is, and I've said this before, Amelia was sort of in the first season that I ever really attached to anyone, and I thought that again, I really wanted Amelia to win her season that year, and so I've been really pleased. That's been one of the things that I've really enjoyed watching this series, is like her sort of just bouncing out of her shell and just sort of seeing all of that personality, and it's been just joy.
Yeah. And I think that's what we've seen with a lot of the contestants this year, that I'm like, I've learned so much about you guys. Like, I thought that Laura and I would come in butt heads. I like honestly thought that. And then it was like literally week 2, Laura and I were like, let's have lunch together every day.
and then after a couple of weeks, you were like, let's have a socially distanced lunch every day. What was that sudden turn into like COVID like in terms of for you guys in there?
We didn't even know if we were going to continue filming, to be honest.
Wow.
It was kind of like a week where we were like, they're going to shut it down. They're going to shut it down any day now. They're going to shut it down. We were watching the news and we were watching like everyone, and no one knew. Like, no one knew. Production didn't know. It was above everyone. It was kind of like no one could give you a straight answer if we were going to keep filming or if we weren't. So that was kind of crazy. And then we came in and we were having, and I remember we were having debriefs with every single person. It was just kind of like, you need to talk to the nurse because this now has to come into play. And it was just like, there were new rules. I think that they've hidden it well, but we actually split up and run into different directions when we start.
Wow.
So half of us go into the pantry and the other half will go to equipment.
They haven't made a big deal out of that, but because they make it look a little bit like there's the charge of everybody, but no.
Yeah, it's half of us will split and we kind of just decide between us who wants to go where.
The only difference I've seen this year with the equipment coming back is that everyone seems to be doing the Amelia route and bringing back every whisk in the kitchen. And that's been interesting. It's like everyone has a billion whisks.
I was watching Amelia do that and I was like, are you going to use all of it? And then by the end, she was scooping things with her whisk. And I'm just like,
but then last night in the elimination, last night, Reynolds had all the whisks. And I'm like, is this just a thing now?
But I didn't even think that whisks were that important until I saw everyone use whisks. I'm like, I have 2 whisks in the house. Like, who has more than that?
Reynolds was cooking duck. I'm trying to work out what the whisk. I'm trying to work out what all the whisks were for.
Obviously, it's a thing. He needed it for the cake.
Okay, let's just hit hibachi quickly.
I was about to. Let's do it.
Hibachi is a glorified barbecue, and that's why we use it.
100%.
That's just it. I'm just like,
smoke is 100% on food trend.
And
it's like everyone's like the hibachi. I'm like, do you know how delicious food cooked on a barbecue is?
And a coal fire.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's the reason we do it, because it just adds that smoky flavor without smoking something where the smoke can become overwhelming. When you cook something on a hibachi, the smoke is very light.
I mean, one of my favorite things I think I've seen this year was in the masterclass where Jock was telling everyone how to make the hibachi extra hot, which was just brilliant until Rosalie burned her arm off. But that was just funny. Like, now here's a heat gun from Bunnings. And you can, in my head, I can just hear Channel 10 Legal going, don't tell them to do that. Don't tell them to do that. Don't tell them to do that.
I'm pretty sure someone else did that in the kitchen after Jock did that. And I was like, what? I was like, we weren't really supposed to do that, were we?
I'm now waiting for MasterChef Junior.
No. Look, I think with the guidelines of MasterChef Junior, they're not even going to even have a real fire.
Oh. I like the idea it's going to be a Fisher-Price cooking set. Yeah, and I
think that they have to use like the electric ones.
The glow, it'll be a glow jet. It won't be cooking.
Oh my God, it's like an easy bake by.
It'll be flour and water and some breakfast cereal, and everyone will pretend, oh, this is really nice.
See, when I was 11, we went to Girl Guides and we had to cook on fire outdoors and we weren't supervised. My friend and I disappeared for a couple of hours with a hatchet. That's when they started to worry.
That would be terrible.
Oh, whoa.
We just found a dead tree and thought, if we chop this shit down, we've got firewood all weekend and we don't have to do anything else.
I'm scared now of the concept of you walking off with a hatchet, in all honesty.
For 2 hours.
Yeah, and even the thought of you like kind of thinking that way at such a young age is quite frightening.
Isn't it absolutely terrifying? I'm sitting next to her. That's worrying part. That's scary, Kristie, on many fronts.
I was so proud of me and Claire. We're very proud of ourselves. Just
what isn't terrifying, however, and something in fact the audience absolutely adored. How's this for a segue?
Oh,
the shirts. We have to talk the shirts.
That's why. Get into the
Everyone is so nice. Okay, I'm just gonna say that for one. The fans have been so lovely. Like, I don't think I've seen one bad, mean thing written about myself, and I'm just like, you guys are rock. But
everyone was determined that they were going to shield you with their own lives when it looked like you were going to be eliminated. It was just this phalanx of people going, protect Khan!
But it was like, they've gone behind the shirt so much. We're looking at the final figure right now, but we're sitting at like $33,000 for
wow.
And that's kind of like really exciting, especially because I'm continuing to do them. Like, I thought, we're talking to retailers now of getting them in, and they're still going to just go to charity, because I'm like, I might as well. Like, it doesn't affect me in any way, and it's helping other people. So I've got a second drop happening, I think the next week. So the t-shirts are back, got a new stockist, and we're actually also doing, by we, I mean me. I keep saying we like it's like a vibe as a team.
It's the royal we, Khan. It's the royal we.
It's like we, as in like everyone that's like helping me right now. No, I'm just literally like replying to phone calls and emails. But I'm also doing a range of loungewear, so trackies and hoodies. But I think with the loungewear is going to be going to homeless youth instead. Just because I kind of want to spread the love a little bit.
Yes.
And I'm very heavily involved, like heavily into it, giving back to youth, especially because that is the future and that's how we're going to grow. So I think that's where the support is really needed.
Beautiful. Do you think you'll expand to You Are Loved Snuggies? Because I'm
I don't know about a Snuggie. I'm like, okay, so I went a little bit crazy when you guys went, like when the fans went crazy and bought all the t-shirts. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exploding and I need to trademark everything. So I've trademarked because I'm like, it was getting really annoying that like fake sites were popping up with You Are Loved tees and they said my name on them. And I'm like, you're taking money directly from a charity here. Like you're literally directly taking money from a charity. So I was like, I'm trademarking everything.
Yes, we have a link to an intellectual property lawyer, Baker from the Great Australian Bake Off, if you want some cross support.
So, that would be great. But yeah, because it's been for charity, I've actually had a lot of law firms kind of contact me and being like, we're happy to just take this on as a pro bono case because it's wrong. I'm like, yay, you guys are so nice. People are so nice.
Yeah, they've been brilliant. It's been really fantastic. Like to watch everyone sort of to get around everybody, you in particular. And I mean, look, you've been part of my favorite last couple of shows on TV because also, I can't let this pass without, RIP for the My Market Kitchen crew of you and Elena.
Yes.
And that was my sort of come home and get to see you and Elena on my TV, which has made me happy, except for the weeks you cooked matcha. That's okay. But,
so matcha and peas are what you...
Yeah, matcha and peas. And I know Elena did it once on the show and referenced me when she did it, which I was so thrilled about. So
secretly stoked.
Yes, I was secretly stoked.
Peas? What's wrong with peas? Peas are so sweet.
I know for me, it's childhood trauma, like just overboiled peas and the smell and stuff and like a horrible aunt's house. And then my best friend who would suck the inside, soak them in vinegar and then suck the insides of them out.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
But I literally will sit, like Diana and I sometimes will just buy like raw vegetables and we'll have like a bag of like peas and we'll sit there and just pod them and pop them like popcorn because it's so sweet.
That's what a fabulous MasterChef house does. Just sucks was there a bit of like I'd like to think before you went back there was a bit of a MasterChef training montage with you and Diana and sort of
she was away all the time. Have you seen that girl's lifestyle? Like she's away half the year. I'm like, where are you? She's like, I'm in Dubai. I'm filming for 3 days here, and then I'm just gonna lay on the beach for 10. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna go back to the restaurant and do 40 hours here, and then probably go home and do other work. And it's cold.
And I have turnips, and I've got terraforming, and I've got Ariana Grande pictures to put on the ground. I have hard limits.
But it's really funny because of COVID, she's been at home, and so I'm just like every single day she's cooking, and we both cook, but I was pretty much in charge of lunches and dinners before COVID happened, and now she's like, I don't have anything to do, Khan. All I do is cook. Like, I just keep cooking because that's all I can do right now. I just make content and I just cook and we just eat, okay? And I'm like, yep, cool. You're going insane. I'm just going to let you do what you need to do.
Like, everyone has their coping methods, whether it's Animal Crossing, Assassin's Creed, or cooking a fuck ton. It's just
actually, she does really weird handyman stuff around the house. Today, like I walked out into the kitchen, she goes, when was the last time you changed the filter for the washing machine? I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, okay, I'm going to do that right now. And she sat there for like 10 minutes trying to work out how the filter work. I'm like, are you supposed to do that? She goes, it says you're supposed to do it monthly. We have never done this before, Karen. I'm like, that's cool.
Wow.
There is a filter, by the way. I'll show you where it is.
I knew the one in the dryer because my mum said, you've got to clean this out or it'll catch fire. And
it will catch fire.
Yeah. I'll show you where the one is in the washing machine. I know where it is.
Oh, that's good. No, you can keep doing that.
I can just keep doing that?
Yes.
How kind.
You're welcome.
This is
You're making up for so many years of oppression.
I'm doing my bit. So are you now sort of, excited to sort of be a little bit excited to be on the other side of it and get to just watch purely as a viewer?
I am too a little bit because I actually don't have Channel 10 at my house.
That's okay. There's internet.
Yeah.
Template.com.au. Template.com.au. I'm
But when
advertising.
you watch it, but when you watch it behind, like 3 minutes behind the Twitterverse, it's not as fun.
No.
No, I know.
It's really fun when like things happen on Twitter. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good call. I'm not going to tell you what that comment is because people will bag me for saying that, but that's a funny call.
You know what? You should get Diana now. She's handy woman up there
Rigging
an aerial up.
Oh, we've been trying so hard to actually fix it. It's the only channel on the TV that doesn't work.
I really hate
It's like,
modern age. You always get that. You get a TV that just, for me at one point it was like SBS, and then I moved house, and then it was the ABC, and it's
just one channel, and I'm just like, why is it just one channel? I can watch 10 Peach fine.
And more importantly, you're like, why is it the channel I'm on?
Yeah.
Like, this is where I am. Why can't I see myself?
So I actually stayed at mum's for like 6 weeks while watching it because I was like, I could tweet from here, and also mum makes good food.
And I mean, that's been the tricky part about the Twitter, obviously, as well, because with the roll call we've got, is that we've got people from all over the country. So it's great because we've got the South Australian crew kicking about half an hour into the show.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic because we start the show and then like half an hour in, they're tweeting about what's happening in the first 5 minutes. And then the Perth crew kick in a couple of hours later and they're way outside the bubble of what's going on.
Oh, the Perth crew is scary because every time I write anything, they're like, thank you for ruining it for me. I'm like, okay.
The correct answer is sorry. We're tweeting.
Sorry,
you should
have just moved to the East Coast like normal people.
I was just like, I'm on this show. I'm allowed to tell you what I'm doing right now while it's airing on my TV.
Yes.
So before we finish up, obviously, the other obvious question to ask is, have you got the next lot of your life planned out, or is COVID kind of pausing it?
There's actually so much happening, and I'm so excited. Like, so much. What happened? On Wednesday, I had a call, and I sat in the bathtub crying for 10 minutes. No, in the shower crying for 10 minutes, and then I called my mum, and I was like, so this just happened. I can't tell you any of this, so it makes no sense. So I just crying the whole time.
I want you to be my
personal chef.
My personal chef.
No, that's Reese.
No,
What's Reese?
Katy Perry and I are feuding. Have you not seen it? Like, we're not friends. I'm like, I laughed at her joke about being a basic bitch, and she like wanted to kill me. So.
You've done well there. No, international superstar wants to kill you. That's
Usually people just have normal people as their nemesis.
I've got a chicken.
Katy Perry.
I've got a chicken. So
you like Taylor Swift.
Ding.
No, I'm like, I'll pass on that.
Smart. That's media savvy. That's media savvy.
Here we are. We're going to watch tomorrow. Like, oh my God. So last week I had to duck down to the shops and I saw a bloody thing on one of the trash magazines saying, oh, Jess is in love with Simon. And I'm like,
what
the fuck?
No, the quality of made up stories this year about MasterChef, by the way, have been stupid. They've been really bad.
Yeah.
But the problem is as well, they were obviously coming from one source. So we're doing all the stuff about Everybody Hates Melissa, but it was all coming out from Channel 7 as part of the lead up to Big Brother.
Yeah.
And you're like, really obvious, guys. It's only coming from.
I'm like, no one hates Melissa. Like,
no,
no
and that's
one.
the other point. It's like, no one hates Melissa. Like, so that's like the quality of the made up media stories this year has just been so low.
So now I'm like, I see where you're coming from because, even where he's joking about, feud, and tomorrow it'll be Khan versus Katie.
Which is great. Let's make that happen. That's a great
just one international.
I'll deal with that. I'll keep feeding that fire. There's TV stuff. Obviously, there's always TV stuff happening, so that's like fine. But like, there's the book is just going gangbusters.
Yep.
We're actually thinking that we may have to do a second print before it even is released, which is ridiculous. Like, when my publishers said that, they're like, so someone's taken it on and they basically have bought all of it. And they really want to work with you. And I was just like, that is incredible. That is why I can't believe you just said that. And so, yeah, I'm really like, I wanted 500 copies for the restaurant, and they're like, we have 50 put aside for you. The rest are gone. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
You're like, sorry, Khan, you can't have your own book.
Yeah, which is I'm really, really thankful for, because everyone's just really gotten behind it. And I wrote the book because I wanted something that people cooked from and had some fun with, because I think a lot of cookbooks are books that you just have that sit in your bookshelf.
Yep.
I have a lot of those cookbooks. I'm like, that book is so beautiful. I'm buying that. And I'm like, I've never looked inside that book or cooked from it. I don't know what's inside it, but I bought it because it's beautiful.
Yes.
But I didn't want that. I wanted okay, this is a really easy way to make this because you have 25 minutes and 4 kids to feed.
That's the benefit, is making it something that's practical.
Yeah, so it is a very practical cookbook, and it's very, very much me. So I just didn't think that was going to go off like that. I just thought, I've got a cookbook coming out, it'll do okay. And then when they were like, it's doing really well, I had a little cry to me moment. Yeah.
Does it have like a centerfold? Like a seal?
Oh my God, there is no centerfold, except there is like, I sent through some images, not as real images. I just thought that they'll be like, ha ha ha, he sent through these stupid images, but they're in there now. And I was like,
just you in front of
no, because
doing it.
They're like incidental images, so they don't apply to the dish. They're just like a random like photos of me doing things with my friends and stuff. And so when they went in, I kind of skimmed past them. Like I looked at all the recipes and the images of the food, but I didn't look at like the incidental ones that closely. And then yesterday I opened it. I'm like,
whoops.
I'm in Speedos in a pool filled by colorful food blow-ups. And like, just like, what is this? What is this photo? Like, why is this? What does this have to do with anything in here? And I'm just like, of course.
Hans Modern Life.
I'm literally holding some kind of super slow Coke surrounded by like half-eaten donuts and watermelons and things, like just in Speedos.
Nice.
Well, I think that kind of, the book and all those things, so it kind of sums it up. And I mean, the shirts kind of sum it up as well for you with the whole "you are loved" thing. Because the one thing I think that you found is that you are definitely loved by the audience, and that the level of sort of love and sort of commitment to you has been really, it's been really, like, we've been watching it going, wow, the audience would literally stand in front of a bullet for Khanh.
Yeah, I even think the Reynolds stands.
So nice.
Yeah, even the Reynolds stands would stand in front of that. So that's a good one. I accidentally once criticized something that Reynolds did, and the audience tried to kill me. So yeah,
I'm on the audience's side.
I know you are. I know you're.
I will come and I will kill you.
So thank you very much, as always, for the chat. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me, always. I was like, I needed to work out when I could speak to you guys. I'm so happy we've made it happen.
Oh, I'm so pleased we managed to make it happen too, even if you get to luxury out in the bath as you were doing it. So, win-win situation.
I have to make a salad now because my friends are coming over.
Enjoy that. Well, maybe maybe you knew somebody who had a lifestyle book about how to make a salad. That could be handy. Thank you very much, as always, Khanh. Until next time, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we'll catch you all later.
Bye now.